In fact, a very powerful wizard who was caught by my gods praised them himself. He shouted, Asuawabi and Asuamorsa are truly powerful gods. He confessed that he was the king and leader of all witches in the land of Sefwi Asafo. He claimed his power was so immense that anything he imagined would become reality and would instantly appear in his hand, whether it was a gun, a cutlass, anything. He even said he had a spiritual hammer, and whenever he wanted to end someone, he would strike with that hammer. I have video evidence of that confession.
Welcome to the missing link on ZionTvGh English. My name is Mr. Zion. Here, we explore what we, as humanity, are truly missing. From forgotten cultures to hidden stories that can change how we see life. Join me as we uncover the mysteries that complete us. This is the missing link.
Nana Kodua, let's begin with this. What is the meaning of calamity?
Thank you, Zion. First, let me extend my greetings to you and to everyone listening and watching us on Zion TV. I greet all of you, wherever you are. Now, to your question. Calamity is a very broad and serious matter. Let me explain it this way. Imagine someone leaves home and heads to Kejetia in Kumasi. On the way, they witness two people fighting in the street. One of them keeps hitting the other aggressively. Now, in defense, the one being beaten grabs something, maybe a knife or a stick, and tries to strike the attacker. But in a tragic twist, he ends up hitting an innocent bystander, someone who was only trying to separate the fight. At that point, we say the person who is being attacked has unknowingly brought calamity upon the one trying to help. Why? Because that tragic misfortune wasn't random. A bad spirit was involved. Sometimes when calamity strikes, it's not just physical, it's spiritual. It may be that the person who caused harm was spiritually manipulated, trapped by witches or wizards within their own family. So after the act, you'll often see deep regret. They'll say, "That's not who I meant to hit. I wasn't myself." In such cases, we can say, the spirit of misfortune has taken over, and calamity has occurred.
In Ghana, when something unfortunate happens to someone, everyone starts talking, giving opinions and making judgments. But should we really speak badly of them, knowing calamity can happen to anyone?
Zion, calamity can truly befall anyone. That's why in Ghana, in Africa, we place great importance on spirituality. Bad spirits are always working behind the scenes. So when tragedy happens, people rush to share opinions. But truly, the wisest thing to do is to consult the gods, or the ancestors, to find out what really happened. There's a powerful Akan proverb, when the elder finishes bathing, the water is finished. This means, when the ancestors or the gods speak, that is the final word. So, in my view, when misfortune strikes, don't rush to speak. First, let's consult the ancestors. They will reveal whether the event was planned, accidental, or spiritually orchestrated. In such moments, spiritual consultation is not just necessary. It is the best path to truth.
So Nana, let's say someone experiences calamity and another person who doesn't know the full story speaks badly about it. Are there spiritual consequences for that?
Yes, there are consequences. If something happens to someone and you, having no knowledge of the truth, speak ill of them, that brings consequences upon you. Even if you think the person deserves it, if your words are wrong and without knowledge, it can lead to spiritual curses, or the very same calamity can come upon you. That's why, before we speak, we must first seek truth from the gods, or the ancestors. If we haven't done that, then we must keep quiet.
What kinds of consequences, specifically, could someone face for wrongly accusing or bad-mouthing another person in their time of trouble?
There can be many types of consequences: spiritual curses, misfortunes, or even the same calamity happening to you. Even if you had no bad intentions, the spiritual world doesn't work on intentions alone. It works on truth. So, if you speak wrongly, without the truth revealed by the ancestors or gods, it can bring a curse upon you. That's why we must be careful. Say nothing until you know the truth.
In Ghana, Nana, in the old days, people feared speaking falsely about others. Even witches weren't called out publicly. But nowadays, some spiritualists or priests come on the media and boldly claim they caused someone's death or calamity. Is it right for a spiritualist to do this?
Zion, I am a spiritualist, born into this work. My mother is the daughter of a deity. My father, too. I was born in a house of gods. And I'll tell you this: whether you're a priest, a malam, or a herbalist, when something happens through your work, you must never speak of it publicly. Let's say I curse someone, or the gods act upon my words. It's not for me to announce it. It is for the person affected to confess what they did that brought that curse. Even when the gods expose a witch, it's not for the priest to say it aloud. The one caught should come forward and confess. If a spiritualist comes out to say, "Yes, I did this," it's like saying the gods are powerless, that they can't make someone confess by themselves. That is wrong. Let me give an example. Suppose, just suppose, someone's own mother is spiritually harming them. That person comes to the shrine, and the mother brings them to consult the gods, perhaps at Asuawabi or Asuamorsa. Now, would the gods turn to the child and say, "It's your mother doing this to you?" The gods won't say that, because even the sick child may not believe it, and the mother may challenge the gods. So the gods, in their wisdom, will simply accept the child and begin healing them. Then, maybe the next day, the mother begins to confess by herself. That's how the truth is revealed, with spiritual power and divine timing. So no, as a spiritualist, you don't go to the media and boast. You wait. You let the work of the gods speak for itself. That is the way of truth and honor in this path.
Nana Kodua. In the olden days, herbal medicine was incredibly powerful. But these days, if we gather 100 local herbalists, only about 10 are truly genuine. Do you think the power that the Creator placed in herbs has weakened, or is something else going on?
Zion. No. The power of herbs will never lose its strength. It is not possible. If anyone says that herbs have lost their power, they are simply not telling the truth. The real issue is not the herbs. It is the humans who handle them, especially the herbalists. Before someone can testify that your herbs are powerful, those herbs must come from the home, a place where tradition and discipline have been passed down. These days, everybody wants to be a herbalist. Someone uproots a few plants, one or two, and suddenly claims to be an expert. But they have no true knowledge. And when people go to such individuals and see no results, they lose faith, not just in the person, but in herbal medicine as a whole. That is how the reputation of herbs is being damaged. Zion, you're absolutely right. Out of 100 herbalists, maybe only 10 are genuine. And if you look deeply, those 10 are usually from homes where it has been practiced for generations. Like me, mine is from my home. I didn't travel somewhere to go and learn it. I was born into it. It's in my bloodline. You'll meet people who claim to be herbalists, priests, or malams, but they are not. Some of them simply put on the appearance, wearing white cloth, molding fake shrines out of clay, pretending to serve spirits, but it's all a scam. When someone visits such a person, what do they gain? What knowledge of herbs does that person really have? They can't offer any real help. But for those of us who were trained at home, from generation to generation, where knowledge is sacred and passed down with discipline and honor, we still carry the genuine power of herbs, exactly as the Creator intended. And when the herbalist is disciplined and follows the ways of the gods, then yes, the herbs will remain just as powerful as they have always been.
In the past, every home had its own gods and herbal knowledge. I once traveled with a man, and let's say he was under spiritual attack. He would pick a herb, place it in his mouth, and instantly become invisible. Today, we rarely see such powers. Is this because we've failed to document and pass them on?
Zion, you've touched a deep truth. Yes, we are slowly losing our knowledge of culture, of herbs, and of spirituality. The wisdom of our ancestors is fading. But it's not because the power has disappeared. It's because the next generation is not paying attention. As I sit here with you today, I am simply continuing what my ancestors began. And thankfully, my child is sitting close, observing, learning, and being obedient. So in the future, he too can walk this path. But sadly, in many homes, this isn't happening. You mentioned the man who could become invisible with herbs. That was real. Those ancestors had powerful spirits and deep herbal knowledge. But ask yourself, did their children learn it? Did they pay attention? Did they follow the rules of the gods? Most of them didn't. These days, our children go to boarding school. They are away from their grandparents and parents, missing out on years of sacred wisdom. And when the elders pass on, the family comes back, scrambling to find a successor, bringing in someone who never learned a thing. How can such a person carry on what they never knew? That's why I say, whoever is meant to take your place must walk beside you while you are still alive. Let them observe. Let them learn. Let them live it. Because if that person stays close and you teach them well, then when you're no longer here, they will carry the same power. They will continue the work with the same truth and strength.
I've always wondered, our grandparents had powerful herbs and deep spiritual knowledge, but they were very careful about who they passed it on to. Was that an intentional decision, or was it just the way things were done?
Zion, it was never done out of selfishness. Our ancestors were extremely wise, far wiser than we give them credit for. They looked at the heart. They observed a person's humility, discipline, and character before handing over any spiritual responsibility. Because the one who receives that power must not bring shame or misuse it. You see, herbs walk hand in hand with spirit. If someone is disrespectful, proud, a womanizer, or speaks carelessly, no ancestor will entrust power to such a person. Why? Because every true spiritual power requires truth, humility, and integrity. When the wrong person receives sacred knowledge, they might use it for their own gain, or even for harm. That's why our ancestors were cautious. They studied you deeply. In fact, in the old days, when an ancestor prepared a herbal remedy, they would often hide how they did it, squeezing the herbs silently so no one would observe. They didn't want unworthy people learning and then abusing that knowledge, perhaps charging high prices, scamming others, or misrepresenting the culture. So yes, Zion, they chose who to pass it on to, not out of selfishness, but out of protection. If someone was chosen, it meant they were to carry on the legacy with honor.
When people visit herbalists and are asked to bring something, maybe an egg, goat, or money, some complain and say, "Is it not just herbs? Just bless it for me." Is it right for herbalists to request something, or is it a form of scam?
Zion, this is a very important point, and I'll be honest with you, it is not a scam. Everything our ancestors did, they did with meaning and process. We must not deviate from their ways. Let's look at it from the physical world first. When someone finishes learning a trade, like hairdressing or auto mechanics, they don't just pack up and leave the master. Number, they ask for a blessing. They seek approval so they can prosper in their work. Now, spiritually, it's the same. The spiritual master, the herbalist, is not just giving you herbs. He is transferring something sacred. Before that happens, he must bless it. And yes, giving an offering is part of that process. When you bring something, whether a goat, a chicken, or an egg, you are showing respect, humility, and seriousness. That gift touches the heart of the herbalist, and when he blesses the herbs with sincerity, the medicine will work effectively. So no, it is not a scam. It is a sacred exchange. And every spiritual process needs that blessing before the power of the herbs can fully work.
These days, when people visit local herbalists, often referred to as dunseni or kamfo, they may see them offering animal blood and mixing herbs with charcoal or water. Some say this is fetish and shy away. Are all herbal practices spiritual, or are some just medicinal?
Every real medicine is connected to the gods. There's no such thing as ordinary when it comes to the herbs our ancestors used. Every illness has what it likes and what it rejects. Every spiritual ailment has an antidote that must be respected. For some illnesses, the cure requires sacrifice, maybe the blood of a chicken or goat, because that sickness is spiritual in nature. When blood is offered and the herbs are blessed accordingly, and you bathe or cleanse yourself with them, the sickness goes away. Not because of the blood itself, but because the spiritual antidote has been activated. This is not just medicine. It is the way of the gods. People often label it as fetish, but truly, it is sacred culture. It is the path our ancestors walked. And yes, it is fetish, but in the traditional sense. Fetish simply means something that holds spiritual power. It is not evil. So when someone says, "That's fetish," I say, "Yes, it is." Because our culture is spiritual, and our healing is spiritual. If you believe, it will heal you. If you don't believe, and you mock it, then it's best you leave it alone.
In the past, pastors rejected herbs. They called it fetish and focused on olive oil, holy water, or Florida water. But now many are secretly embracing herbs. Some say you don't need to follow traditional protocols, like placing an egg or coin before uprooting a plant, because God created everything. Are they repackaging our ancestors' ways for their own agenda? Or do herbs truly require those rituals?
Zion. This is very important. I've said this before. If we abandon the ways of our ancestors, we lose everything. No matter what you do, if you don't follow the proper way, you won't succeed. Let me be clear. I don't hate pastors or prophets. They're my brothers. But the truth is, many of them don't speak honestly. They change colors like chameleons. In the old days, they condemned herbs. They said it was fetish. They used olive oil from overseas and called it anointing oil. They prayed over it, even had people drink it. But now, people have become wise. They've realized that the same olive oil from the kitchen shelf is what's being used. So now, some pastors have turned back to herbs. But they try to erase the spiritual protocols, saying, God created everything, so just go and pluck it. But that is not true, Zion. There are trees you cannot even walk under unless you carry schnapp. Some plants require you to place an egg or offer a coin before touching them. Any pastor or prophet watching or listening to me, if they believe they are powerful, I challenge them to perform a simple spiritual experiment. Let them go sleep with a woman without cleansing, and then approach certain sacred trees in the forest. Zion, I will stand there and watch. They will run for their lives. They'll feel invisible beatings from the spiritual dwarfs. the abosom, moadia, and no cane or person will be seen. But they will feel every lash. You don't just walk under a sacred tree anyhow and claim God has made all things clean. Our ancestors knew better, and their knowledge was divine. God is the one who revealed these rituals to our ancestors. That's why, even today, before I collect herbs from certain trees, I go with schnapp, local eggs, not poultry eggs, and sometimes a fowl, depending on the location of the tree. If the tree is near a river, then the fowl is required. If not, egg and schnapp alone are used. And yes, I have videos of me doing this. I speak to the tree. I honor it. I follow the rituals. Only then can an operator even attempt to cut that tree down. So when these pastors say, just go and plug it, Zion, they are misleading people. Every herb, every tree has a spirit, and if you don't respect it, it will not work for you, and it may even harm you.
Nana, with all this knowledge, wisdom, and spiritual responsibility, I imagine being a herbalist today is not easy. What challenges do you face in your line of work?
My brother, the challenges are many, but if you walk with the right spirit, those challenges don't overwhelm you. I'm protected by Asuawabi, and together with the Creator, they guide everything I do. That's why, personally, I don't face as many challenges as others. But those who have no spirit guiding them, they suffer constantly. Even witches torment them. Let me give you an example. A man once came all the way from Sefwi Asafo to challenge me at my shrine. He brought his wife with him. What he didn't say was that he was a wizard, and he had used a spiritual stick to paralyze his own wife. Now, when they entered the shrine, the gods said nothing about his evil deeds. They simply welcomed the wife and said, "We will look after her, cleanse her, clear her taboos." That made the man panic. He rushed to clean the taboo, but his true intention was to test the gods. But listen, Zion, the gods are wise. They know the truth. And in that same shrine where his wife was welcomed, the gods exposed him. He was the real danger. And it wasn't me. It was the power of the gods that dealt with him. You see, I always say this. When a witch or wizard is caught, and you try to take the credit for yourself, the gods will withdraw. Let the gods do their work. Let the gods take the glory. So yes, the challenges are there. But when you're walking with the spirits, and not for fame or self-praise, you are protected, and the work becomes sacred, not a burden.
Sorry to say this, but are witches and wizards that foolish? It's like someone who smokes weed, then walks straight into a police station with it. They know exactly where they're going, and that the place is more powerful than them, but they still go. Why?
My grandfather, may he rest in peace, was called Nana Enua. He used to say, "A foolish witch or wizard is caught by the gods." He explained it this way. When a witch or wizard encounters someone who is spiritually protected by gods or ancestral forces, they will never come close. But in every family, there are always a few ignorant ones, and those are the ones they target. That's why he would repeat that quote often. A foolish witch or wizard is caught by the gods. Now, not all witches or wizards are foolish. Some truly believe in their powers. But when a river god or deity catches a witch or wizard, they deserve to be praised. In fact, a very powerful wizard who was caught by my gods praised them himself. He shouted, "Asuawabi and Asuamorsa are truly powerful gods." He confessed that he was the king and leader of all witches in the land of Sefwi Asafo. He claimed his power was so immense that anything he imagined would become reality and would instantly appear in his hand. Whether it was a gun, a cutlass, anything. He even said he had a spiritual hammer. And whenever he wanted to end someone, he would strike with that hammer. I have video evidence of that confession. I will show it to you. Now, that same man, the once powerful wizard, has been driven mad by the gods. His own son, who lives abroad, contacted me. He gave his father my number so he could bring his mother to my shrine for healing. But after getting my number, he never called. A whole year passed. Meanwhile, he kept visiting certain prophets here in Kumasi. I won't mention names. Eventually, the children became upset. They confronted their father and asked, "Why are you spending all this money trying to heal our mother when someone with a real solution is available and you're avoiding him?" One day, I was told a man had come to see me. I went out to greet him. He said, "My children insisted I bring their mother to your shrine for healing." So I consulted the gods. And, wonderfully, they confirmed they could help her. He returned with his son and the mother. But later, I was told something strange by the son. He said I had appeared at night and struck him on the cheek, forcing his tongue to come out. But I wasn't even there. I was home. It became clear the wizard had transferred his powers and spiritual tricks to his son and other family members. When I came back to the shrine, the son had already left. Only the father, the wizard, remained. A week passed. Even my spiritual companions can bear witness to this. The man told me he wanted to leave. I asked him, "Why would you leave your wife behind for me to care for? I don't even know you." He quickly said, No, she's not part of my family." But I knew what was going on. He had seen a glimpse of the god's power and wanted to run. So I told him, "If you're leaving, someone from the family must stay with her. Otherwise, take her with you." Eventually, they made some calls and his children calmed him down. He stayed. But within a week, he sneaked out of the shrine and went to sleep in someone else's house. There, he said, he heard a sound on the rooftop at night. He got goosebumps and stepped outside. The moment he did, he felt a stick hit the back of his neck. That blow made him start confessing everything. His son Kwaku was with him and confirmed all he said.
So wizards really do challenge the gods?
Yes, Zion. Wizards love to challenge power. If the gods fire a spiritual gun, they fire back. Ask any true spiritualist. Wizards possess spiritual weapons just like the gods. They imitate everything the gods do. So, when a god manages to overpower a wizard, that god is truly powerful. That's why witches and wizards deliberately test them, to see if their power is real, or just talk. And if the wizard is stronger, he'll defeat the god. Simple as that. That wizard confessed many things. He even said, in Sefwi Asafo, there was a pastor, Pastor Asomadu. If anyone listening is from Sefwi Asafo, you are my witness. He said he shot that pastor spiritually and killed him. We don't joke or lie here, Zion. If you're from that town and you knew that pastor with the big church, then you've heard the story. Witches and wizards challenge humans all the time. If you're a herbalist working without any spiritual protection, they'll manufacture an illness, put it on their child, then bring that child to you for healing. Some even buy the sickness for themselves. And when you attempt to heal them, the sickness transfers to you. There's this elderly woman I know, a herbalist without spiritual backing. She plucked a healing herb to treat a woman with breast cancer. But in the end, the cancer transferred to her. If it hadn't been for the gods of my shrine, her breast would have rotted off. Zion. This path we walk is filled with spiritual danger. But when you purify yourself and have a true spirit behind you, nothing can harm you.
Will the river gods ever possess you one day?
Nana Kodua. You know, here in Ghana, nothing stays hidden forever. One day, everything eventually comes out. So yes, it's very possible.
Looking at our herbalism and spirituality, do you think it has a future?
Right now, because of all the lies and scams, it doesn't look like it has a future. But I will plead with all those in the practice, let's work truthfully. If we do that, then yes, it can have a future. You see, our herbalism and spirituality today feels like what I usually say about Ghana itself. Ghana has no future. That's how our spiritual system is starting to feel. Why? Because when lies and scams take over something, there's no future for it. But if we stay truthful, if we hold on to the values of integrity, there will be a future. I say this all the time. The gods have stayed truthful. That's why we, their servants, must also stay truthful. Christianity came and condemned our gods. And so in Ghana, pastors became the heroes. But now, many have seen through them. A lot of prophets and pastors have been exposed. Many have fallen into disgrace because they lied. They tricked people. And the people are waking up.
That's true. And now many of these pastors and prophets are turning into spiritualists. I personally know 3 pastors who are more powerful than some traditional priests.
Some of these pastors, yes, they now work with the gods. Quietly.
Let me share this with you. There was a priestess once. She was possessed by the gods and sent to a priest for training. She stayed with him for 2 years, learning the ways of the gods. When it was finally time for her to leave and establish her own shrine, her master molded an idol for her. He told her to go and plant her shrine somewhere else and serve. But strangely, she was never possessed by the river goddess again. Nothing happened. No spirit came. Then one day someone saw her and told her family, "What is possessing her is not genuine. The power she has is from the Karaman gods." So the family took her to the Karaman shrine and asked the priest to consult the gods to find out what was really happening. What the gods revealed was shocking. The priest who trained her had molded her idol using concrete, and to make it look spiritual, he painted it with egg and powdered charcoal.
That's exactly the kind of scam we're talking about.
So, let's say I'm someone who doesn't believe in the gods, but one day I experience something spiritual that shakes me.
That's the sad reality. Just this past week, a woman came here with a serious illness. She traveled all the way to Nyamuwanse for help. When we consulted the river gods, everyone there presented their issues, and the gods accepted to help them. But when it was her turn, the river god said, "Number, this woman has committed many sins. She has been cursed." We asked her to speak the truth. She was shocked and silent. So we asked her, "Everywhere you've gone for help, they told you they could solve your problem, right?" She said, "Yes." "And did they give you medicine?" She replied, "Yes." "Did they consult their gods to find the cause of your problem?" She said, "No." But they still took her money. They gave her herbs. She had been suffering for 2 years. Now, Zion, some curses can take 5 to 10 years to fully destroy a person. They can make you weak, cause your body to waste away. And if you don't go to a powerful God, you'll never know what's really behind your suffering. So I asked her, "Why did none of those other shrines discover your curse?" She had no answer. But when she came to my shrine, the gods revealed the truth. We even traced the curse back to its source. The person who cursed her confirmed it. She said she cursed the woman because of lies she told about her. And the woman admitted she had indeed lied. That case was even taken to the chief's palace. She also confessed to lying about a man in Manso, telling police that he tried to attack her with a cutlass. That too was a lie. So now, she's only gone back to Nyamuwanse to beg for forgiveness. But we've heard nothing about her returning to the victim in Manso.
So, when someone like her visits all these shrines and not one spiritualist can uncover the truth, it shows something is truly wrong in the system.
Yes, Zion. It tells us that many spiritualists are fake. Let me share another case. A man was brought to my shrine. We consulted the river gods. They told us the man had been cursed. We did all we could, but we couldn't help him. Then his family took him to someone else. That person didn't even consult the gods, but he boldly said, "I can save him," and asked for 4,000 Ghana cedis. The family paused and said, "But the first shrine didn't charge us, and they told us the truth. They said he was cursed and would die. But this second spiritualist wanted money. And you know what happened? On their way back, the man died in the car." Zion, it's not the people's fault that they've lost faith in our ancestral ways. It's the fault of some priests and spiritualists, because the gods themselves, they are truthful. And as for me, I will never work with lies. I will never be greedy for money. When the river gods solve a problem, if someone brings appreciation, that's how I eat. Let me tell you something. People come to my shrine paralyzed. And when the gods heal them, they come back with gifts. But sometimes the river gods say, "You are not fully healed yet. Go. Use your gift to complete your healing first." That's what every god should be doing. But because of greed, many priests won't do that. They want money. They want to live lavishly. So they scam and extort. The gods are pure. But some of the fetish priests who represent them are the reason people are losing faith in our ways.
So there's a saying that all lies in priesthood arise from priest training. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I totally agree with them. As I sit here now, do you see how I look? We won't say much. A prominent priest visited my shrine. He came all the way from Nkoranza to this place. When he arrived, he carefully observed everything. The shrine, the compound, even the people I'm treating here. He interacted with them. He spoke with those I'm helping. Then he turned to me and asked, "Who trained you?" I told him honestly, "No one trained me, but I had good advisors." That's all I said. Then he started talking about many things, especially concerning Ashantis. He spoke directly to me, very frankly, and said, "The river gods you are serving, serve them well and with joy." He added, "Where these gods have brought you in life, even I am shocked. And that," he said, "is because you stand for truth." Laughs. He said something else, but I won't repeat it here. The point is, priesthood training matters. The master who initiates a child into the path, what kind of advice is he giving that child? What kind of rules is he setting for them? Even the way we priests speak, it all comes from training.
I can't even talk about some priests anymore. They're really getting out of hand.
But Zion, this is ours. We need to address it. Because if a pastor does wrong, we call it out. So why can't we say something when our own priests are going astray? If I, Kodua, have witnessed the ways of our ancestors and seen the truth with my own eyes, why shouldn't I defend it? Especially when some priests are tarnishing the sacred image of the gods.
Doctor, do you know the same people watching this interview contribute to what these priests are doing? I watched an interview with a priest. I won't mention his name to avoid backlash. But even if you don't understand spirituality, it's clear what he was saying was full of lies. Still, people flooded the comments with praise. He even cursed live on air using an egg. Why don't they rather live exemplary lives?
Zion, it's shocking. These are some of the things that are happening now. Just look at social media. If you're a priest, you're human. Yes, but you're not like everyone else. Because as a priest, you live under sacred laws. You can ask any true priest, we are bound by spiritual rules. Some even ask, is Kodua really a priest? Let me tell you, I'm more than a priest. When that powerful, high-ranking priest visited my shrine, he said the only thing missing from me was kaolin powder on my face. That's it. He said something about Ashantis that I still won't repeat here, because it would hurt many priests if they heard it. But the truth is, If you are a priest, you are under law. The gods have control over you. You cannot live any kind of life you want. There are words others can say that you, as a priest, simply cannot utter. There are places others can eat that you are forbidden to eat. Some priests don't understand these things. That's why I always say, the way a priest is trained has everything to do with how they behave. I was born into the hands of the gods. There's a god called Nana Kuni. He was the one who made the birth of my mother possible. My mother's name is Choli. My uncle is Holu. The gods gave my grandparents only 2 children, Choli and Holu. Nana Kuni told my grandparents, I will give you only 2 children. First, a boy, Holu, and second, a girl, Choli. Anyone who knows me and is listening now can testify that this is true. So when I watch certain priests on social media speaking recklessly, I say to myself, what a shame. It hurts to see a priest tarnish priesthood. And when people praise such priests, don't let it bother you, because those people lack understanding of what priesthood truly is. There was a man who called me from abroad. He sent someone who was seriously ill to my shrine. That person is still here, recovering well. The man said he's followed priesthood for over 40 years. He told me, even if a priest fakes possession, I'll know. And if a priest is truly possessed, I'll know too. So if I, Kodua, say something that isn't true, and you, as a follower, cannot tell, then it's because you don't know the ways of the gods. So if I'm lying, tell me I'm lying.
One of my godfathers said something. He hates how some Ashanti priests operate. How can a priest who claims to be possessed have a linguist beside him? And then that linguist demands 4,000 Ghana cedis from people.
Do you know something, Zion? That high priest who visited me, he said the exact same thing your godfather said. When we came out of the shrine, he followed me to this very room. That man respects me deeply. He always says I'm humble and that I listen to advice. He told me, Kodua, you follow the river gods, just like the Sumankwaheni. You follow the gods, not your own will. He hugged me and said, keep doing the great work you're doing. But I beg you, never become like those Ashanti priests. He added, if the gods are truly working through you, why do you need an interpreter? That's what he told me, word for word.
Exactly. When Ashanti priests get possessed, they suddenly speak like Northerners. Why do they always need an interpreter?
Because most of them are mimicking the gods, not truly possessed. Now let me be careful. Some gods, like the Mossy gods, do speak that way. That is their language. But some people have simply learned how to speak like that. There's a man named Bentil who brought someone to me, a movie actor named Atinka. He was paralyzed when they brought him. His mother was also sick. It was a very sad case. We consulted the river gods, and they said, we will heal him. Within a month, Atinka was walking again. There was also a woman who had traveled from abroad. She stayed in one of our rooms. She cooked and gave food to Atinka. One day, I passed by and greeted him, and he responded using the voice of the gods. I asked, why are you speaking like that? He laughed and said, that's how I speak in movies. That's my acting role. And that's when it hit me. Some priests are simply acting.
Some forget and even switch between the dialect of the gods and our local language mid-sentence.
Guest Zion. I always say, if you're not truly there, don't say you are. If you are genuinely possessed, great. But if you're not, don't pretend. That's what's tarnishing the image of all of us priests. People who come close to me fall in love with the gods. They feel their power. Let me give an example. A woman came here, you can even interview her. Bentil already did. She came after hearing lies about the late actor Confion, claiming we placed animal blood on his head. Total lies. When the woman arrived, she was very sick, and she came alone. I told her, go home and come back with someone. This sickness is too serious to face alone. She started crying. Then the river gods spoke. Sacrifice one fowl for her. We will heal her. And don't take a single seti from her. Not for herbs, not for food, not for treatment. We followed the instructions. Now she is recovering beautifully. Her husband and son are even here. The son came multiple times to thank me. So if someone sees this from afar, won't they love the gods? Why should we create fear? God created the gods to help because He needed rest. The gods help people through people like us. So why take that trust and use it to manipulate and scare others? Who doesn't fear a monster? If the gods are made to look like monsters, who will ever approach them? The gods are not here to destroy or kill. They are here to help people progress. And my brother in priesthood, the way we speak matters. Anyone being trained as a priest must learn to speak with dignity, whether in public, in front of elders, or among followers. Your speech tells people where and how you were trained. But now, you'll see priests cursing live on social media, insulting people, even bleaching. Priests don't bleach. Some of these so-called priests ran away from their training early and started calling themselves priests. Zion, in this world, if you want to master something, you need a teacher. If you don't get proper training, disgrace will find you.
Your final words. What's your advice to the world today?
Everything I do here, I do not do on my own. I work by the will of the river gods, Aswo-Wabi and Aswo-Morsa. No true priest or herbalist works on their own. It's the gods who lead us. If you come to my shrine seeking healing, you will be healed. If you need protection, come. If you are a woman who cannot give birth, come. If you suffer from stroke, backache, waist pain, if you're under a curse, if you feel strange pins moving in your body, if your stomach aches constantly, come. Even if you see blood when you go to the washroom, the gods can heal you. This house, this shrine, is not a house of lies. We don't deceive people here. The gods I serve are God-sent. Even the herbs we use, they're from God. Nothing in this world was created by Satan. Only God creates. If you've been scammed, if your land has been stolen, if you want to know if someone has been truly initiated, come to the shrine. Let the gods speak. If you're battling spiritual marriage, or sleep paralysis, or your blood mysteriously disappears in the hospital, come. The gods will reveal it all. When you pull a rope and it doesn't come, something is holding it. Cut the rope, and only then will it fall. So I tell people, if you or your child is suffering, come. You can even challenge the gods. They will help you, if your heart is true. When you make a promise at this shrine, and the gods help you, return with thanksgiving. We don't force. We don't lie. We let the gods do what they do, even sexual issues. If you can't ejaculate or need help lasting longer, there are herbs here that can help. But let me be clear, I'm not above any priest. We all serve the same purpose. You sacrifice a fowl, I do the same. You sacrifice a goat or cow, I do too. We are all servants. Let's stop lying. If our ancestors had destroyed this work, you and I wouldn't be here today to eat from it. This is a divine calling. It's not about deception. It's about help. It's about healing. And if someone comes to your shrine and the gods say, I cannot solve this problem, let the person go. Don't lie. Don't ruin the name of the gods. I beg my fellow priests, work truthfully. Some people insult elders on social media. That's a curse upon themselves. I was taught how to speak. My father, Kwaku Antwi, my grandfather, Nana Kwadwo Fojuo of Kiriaman, a powerful man. He never lied. If he said he was possessed, he was. If he said he wasn't, he wasn't. He was respected, even in death. The crowd at his funeral was proof. But some priests today, they speak like they are the gods. They forget their place. So when they die, the gods they served won't even be remembered. Why? Because they took all the credit. Let the gods be known. Let their names be remembered, not ours. Let's return to truth. Let's stop the insults. Let's stop the fear. Let's stop the lies. That's my advice.